Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here today to share with you the deliberations on the Special Initiative on Environmental Education. The world is at a tipping point on several scales with regard to air, to water, to environment. We're at a tipping point that could thrust the global environment and human life into dangerous new territory. The three pillars of sustainable development, economic, social, and environmental, are not integrated yet. There isn't common knowledge in the management or the infrastructure of environmental education. Technologies that are creating unique opportunities and possible engagement for several people are available and are growing rapidly. But here is our challenge, that there is general lack of awareness regarding useful information that is available, that environmental education still occupies a very peripheral role in most traditional education systems. There is lack of standardized guidelines that people can use to integrate the knowledge that they have on environment. And there is also lack or limited access to the new ICT technologies in most of the developing world. But there are still great opportunities, and these are the opportunities we would want to leverage here today. There is opportunities for us to transform our education systems into problem-solving approaches, innovative approaches, transformative approaches that are experiential, that are action-oriented, like has been described by Danny this morning from National Geographic, that are contextualized. There are opportunities for us to address the complex nature of the environment and link those issues with sustainable development and with poverty alleviation. There are opportunities in the information and communication technologies that are emerging in education and growing rapidly. The new technologies for research, for knowledge management, are giving us opportunities to connect the world on a common education platform. We have an opportunity to inspire our young people to care about the environment from a foundation of understanding. And so in addressing this challenge in the Eye on Earth Environmental Education Initiative, we would want to address these problems in a very innovative way, in a way that is creative, in a way that creates awareness, not only among young people, like Samra, who was here this morning very eloquently, but also among us, the older citizenry, who need to be more aware of what the issues are in our environment. So the initiative that we are presenting here today will promote a globally networked environmental information knowledge repository. It will broaden access to environmental information to all cadre of people across the four arenas of education: formal, informal, non-formal, and lifelong learning through capacity building. In addressing this challenge, we will also set up a repository of this knowledge and develop 8 flagship programs across the 6 continents. And so each of the continents represented here today has a flagship program identified under the Special Education Initiative. And each of us, in addition to these initial institutions that are listed here, can play a part in ensuring that every child grows up environmentally aware, that every adult has an opportunity to understand the environment in which they live and be able to take action from a point of understanding. So join us in educating the generations today and the generations of the future. Thank you.
Greetings. I want to start with a thank you, give you some quick information, and end up with an invitation. First of all, the thank you to Her Excellency Razan Khalifa Mubarak for having the vision to bring us together, and also for Ajedi and Catherine Armour for putting boots on the ground and helping us conceptualize what is possible. The Access for All initiative is a 41-page document, which I'm not here to read, but it's available on the website of the Eye on Earth portal. The bottom line is, you heard Lala Nasta Silva make a very, very emotional and heartfelt speech about the importance of involving others in the deliberations of data. Access for All initiative is actually helping Lalanath accomplish that vision where everyone will have access to information and everyone will be able to participate in information management and information assessment. It's very important not to forget that data by itself is not useful. Information is not useful by itself. It's people who take action. An Access for All initiative will ensure that all of us, as citizens of the world, will have access to information. It is a right, and Principle 10 of the Rio Declaration explicitly articulated that right. To end, I would say that the Access for All initiative will bring together many stakeholders, and you see some of their names behind me. It is not that we are not doing anything for accessing information. It's that we need to come together and hold hands. One of the most practical ways to do that is right after this event, upstairs on CS1, we will actually launch the Access for All initiative. And we welcome all of you to come and help us deliberate how we can make sure that Principle 10 is in fact globalized in various pilot projects, pilot studies around the world. Thank you very much.
It gives me great pleasure to speak on behalf of the global network of networks, possibly one of the hardest things to achieve in the sense that we need some glue to make it happen. The context in which we work is changing every day. We have many, many ways in which we associate with each other. I think the challenge will be to keep us together in a way which is meaningful, which actually works to help us change the world together, but doesn't duplicate, doesn't replicate what we're already doing, to add value, in fact, to how we put our brains together and our hearts and our souls to actually create change. The challenges are, of course, enormous. Connecting people, data, and information together in a meaningful way is not trivial. We have literate, we have illiterate people, we have many, many, many hundreds of languages that we speak and prefer to converse in. But somehow we need to find a universal language of what it means to be in a network and to behave responsibly and to rise to the challenge that actually faces us. So we're talking about creating communities, not communities of thematic specialists and communities who live in particular places, but communities that will inspire thoughts and leaders to take different kinds of actions, to work together and actually to force us to look for equitable solutions, not just a few elite solutions. And in the end, the challenge will be to inform a new kind of governance, the governance where it's not just taken for granted that we might have to share our data, but where we wouldn't even think of doing it without, where there's open access to information just as a matter of course. It's part of the DNA of governments. The opportunity is with us. There is an increasing understanding of the need to share information to solve problems. We have a lot of technology. It's not always accessible, it's not always available to everybody on the planet, but we can move in the right directions, and the time is absolutely right. So the question is, how do we translate that? I think sharing is not a natural phenomenon. If you think about who you share with, it's probably with people who are closest to you, people who you love, people who you feel that you're going to get something back from. So when we talk about a global network of networks, it's like having a vast sort of data affair where you're actually going to have to find ways that you want to be with people. You actually want to share information with them for a reason, because you want to get into a long-term relationship with them. These are not just ships that will pass in the night. We're really going to have to find ways to go through maybe sometimes long engagements, sometimes shotgun weddings, but at the end of the day, we're going to have to find a way where sharing becomes a natural phenomenon, a natural reaction for all of us. Because we can all go off and create our own networks. That's very easy to do. So we are talking about, today, a new kind of internet. Not just the casual affair where you just browse and go, but where you stick with people. You put your data together, you publish things together, and you really try to make different answers come out of combining information in different ways. So a new kind of internet, a new kind of way of connecting, but it's about people connecting. And that's what really we need to leave with. And that's why, at the end of the list, there are many, many, many people, many, many networks, individuals, who I hope will now sign up and actually join the global network of networks under the banner of Eye on Earth. But of course, we have some of our principals who will help backstop that in the next few months and in the next coming years. Ajidi, here in Abu Dhabi, others in the region who've already said they want to join, putting networks together that already exist where there's political will to make our neighborhoods places of common work where we can share territories and work together. UNEP, of course, the Group of Earth Observations, many other things are in place. And the idea is that it's an open invitation. Nobody is excluded, but you have to come with something. You have to come with a willingness to share and to work together. So I hope that this really is the threshold and we step over it, just as you might do on the day of your first marriage, happy to go forward together. Thank you.